Welcome to How Long Does It Take to See Positive Effects from Organic Intelligence Work? I'm Dr. Bok Ho. You feel positive effects within seconds if you're able to do orientation and pleasure. You can start improving your life and feeling the improvement immediately, today. If orientation and pleasure are harder or slower to get going or notice, in most cases, you'll feel positive effects within days or weeks, probably within 2 weeks or even one. Orientation and pleasure are positive effects. It's pleasurable being in bed. It's pleasurable being on my phone. It's pleasurable to have my coffee, to look outside, to listen to music, to eat lasagna, to stand up, to walk, to sit down. The experience of orientation and pleasure can feel profound, depending on how it compares to how you usually do life. If you normally work out to reduce stress, and then one day you do a few moments of orientation in your car before going into the gym and feel the settled feeling, that can feel profound, even surreal. It's so different from how you normally feel before entering the gym. Different and better. Then you go work out from a baseline of orientation and pleasure as opposed to stress. And working out is much more pleasurable. The pleasure is more pure. As orientation and pleasure build capacity, people naturally start doing things. Work out, learn the guitar, create an online dating profile, learn to cook, drink less, tell someone how you feel about them. When will specific doings happen? When will you start taking guitar lessons? Maybe impossible to predict. What specific doings happen and in what order and timeline may be hard or impossible to predict. Their functions of what impulses emerge unpredictably as orientation and pleasure deepen and capacity grows. Some doings may be ones you've wanted to do, you've had in mind, and some may be unpredictable. Maybe you've always wanted to play guitar, but with procrastination or inertia, it just never happened. And then suddenly, one day, it does from impulse, from orientation and pleasure. Or maybe you never had any interest in guitar, and then suddenly you have an impulse to buy a guitar. Orientation and pleasure generally work much faster, deeper, and more durably than other approaches, such as cognitive approaches, exposure approaches, feel it to heal it approaches, take action towards values and goals even when you feel like crap approaches, any willpower heavy approaches. for three reasons. First, orientation and pleasure promote feeling better directly, feeling better by feeling better, not by feeling worse first. Second, orientation and pleasure become effortless traits. They're not just states that need to be maintained by effort. Third, orientation and pleasure build capacity. So you handle more and more easily and comfortably, as opposed to living outside your comfort zone, which can create a lot of health problems down the line. With orientation and pleasure, dramatic positive effects can happen very quickly and unpredictably. For example, in my first session with a client, he shared that he had long-standing anxiety about sexual performance with his girlfriend. I spent most of the session having him orient and feel low intensity pleasure while orienting. He came back the next week, anxiety gone, sex with his girlfriend fully pleasurable again, no anxiety, no problems maintaining an erection. Now, I had no idea that would happen, let alone after only one session. That's the unpredictable power of orientation and pleasure. Compare to other approaches. What are your fears in regard to sexual performance? Let's talk about that. Have other women in your past made you feel inadequate? Or, I'd like you to try doing 10 push-ups and a minute of deep breathing, focusing especially on inhales before sex. And let me know next week how it goes. Maybe talking about his fears will work, will lead to less anxiety during sex, and maybe doing 10 push-ups and deep breathing will work too. But a cost is that he's further habituated into no pain, no gain. To enjoy sex with my girlfriend, to manage my anxiety, I need to face my fears, talk about my fears, and do push-ups and deep breathing, which I don't like doing. And it's not organic. You want as much as possible for life to be and feel natural, to be in the flow of enjoyment, not dogged with homework assignments, prep work, and discomfort. Do you really get results faster with orientation and pleasure compared to just do it even if uncomfortable approaches? Often, no. If you're talking about concrete results, like talk to 3 girls by this time next week, and if you're unconcerned with pleasure. If you're seeing a therapist or coach who has a pro action, even if uncomfortable approach, they may assign you that as homework and get you to commit. No pain, no gain. Whereas with orientation and pleasure, if instead of talking to girls, you feel like hiding under your covers, hide under your covers and get as much pleasure as you can from hiding. If the result you want is capacity to handle life pleasurably, Organic intelligence is light speed. Thank you.